that person. That's what it means. So the prem is the biggest thing. Once you get prem, God becomes subservient to you, then what else do you need? Everything is in your hands. So this much I told you yesterday, that prem is our goal. When you get prem, then you get Bhagwan's darshan, you get to meet him face to face, you get to do his seva also. He wants to do your seva. You get to be with him in his divine abode forever and experience the ras, the nectar of that divine love, which is the essence of divine bliss. So how do we get that? That's the question. And the problem is, Bhagwan is beyond our grasp. Nobody here can see God. We create the murtis to help us focus our mind on God, but none of us can see him. He's beyond our senses, beyond our mind. Bhagwan हमारी इंद्रियों से परे हैं, हमारे मन से परे हैं, हमारी बुद्धि से परे हैं. राम स्वरूप तुम्हार, वचन अगोचर बुद्धि पर, अविगत अकथ अपार, नेति नेति नित निगम वद, यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह. Taittiriya Upanishad says, if your mind tries to reach God, like I can know God with my intelligence, it goes to a certain limit, comes back having failed. If you think, somebody thinks, I'm going to give lectures about God, I can fully describe God, your Varni goes a certain distance and fails and comes back. Go go char jahan lagi man jai, so sab maya jane uhai. Bhagwan Ram himself says, wherever the human mind can roam is only within the realm of Maya, the material world. God is beyond the material energy. Then how can we reach him? How can we know him? See, someone might say, oh, if I were to meet God face to face, Bhagwan to avatar lete, तो अभी अवतार लेकर आए अगर भगवान और मुझसे मिलने आ जाए तो बस बन जाए हमारा काम. If somebody thinks that God could just take avatar, Shri Krishna could just appear right now and come and meet us and we would all get his divine love, we'd get his prem. No, it doesn't work that way. Mallanam ashanir nrinam naravara strinam smaro murtiman gopanam swajano satam kshitibhujam shasta swapitro shishu मृत्युर्भोजपतेर्विराट विदुषां तत्त्वं परं योगिनां वृष्णीनां परदेवतेति विदितो रंगंगतः साग्रजः. In the Bhagavatam it's told that when Shri Krishna entered the Colosseum, Kans had called him to come and take part in the Dhanush Yagya, and he had a plan to kill Shri Krishna. So when he entered the Colosseum, there were hundreds of thousands of people there in Mathura who saw him. And they all saw him according to their own state of mind. This is the thing about Bhagwan's body. We think, oh, I'll be like King Janak. Inahi vilokat ati anuraga, Barbas Brahma Sukhai Man Tyaga. King Janak saw Bhagwan Ram face to face when Ram entered Mithila, and he got divine bliss instantly. So we think, I'll also get such divine bliss. Bhagwan can just come and meet me and That's it, I won't have to do anything else. No, King Janak was qualified. He already had divine eyes, divine mind, all divine senses. So he could actually see Bhagwan's real form. Bhagwan's body is not made of skin and bones like ours. It looks like that, but it's made of divine substance, divine bliss. So the thing about that divine body of Bhagwan, if you don't have divine eyes and you just have material eyes like we do, he will appear to be an ordinary person. You won't even see like, oh, he's so beautiful, not even that much. If somebody were to tell you, let's say Shri Krishna took avatar right here, right now, and then someone told us, Ye Bhagwan hai, we would say, I get more pleasure looking at my own son or daughter than I do looking at Bhagwan. Why would I go to so much trouble to follow the path to God and try to attain Bhagwan? Dekh liya, koi badi baat nahi thi. We wouldn't get any benefit from seeing God, because like if somebody has piliya rog, somebody has jaundice, और किसी सफेद दीवार को देखो तो आदमी बोलेगा कि ये पीला, ये पीली है ये दीवार. They will swear that this wall is yellow if they have jaundice. The wall is not at fault, but the person's senses are infected with that disease. Similarly, Bhagwan is divine, but our senses are made of Maya. So we project that Mayic quality onto Bhagwan when we look at him. So if somebody, let's say there's a Rakshas who sees Bhagwan, he will see Bhagwan in a very frightening form, like he has 6 heads and 12 arms, and he looks very horrible and scary. A Rakshas is describing Bhagwan. Why? Because his heart is tamas, his heart is very impure. Then if there's a normal person will say, हाँ ठीक है, ये तो मेरे जैसा है, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, यानी अच्छा भी नहीं लगा, बुरा भी नहीं लगा, ठीक है, आम आदमी है. A person with a normal heart will just see Bhagwan and think he's a normal person. If someone's heart is more sattvic, जिसका हृदय और भी शुद्ध है, तो और भी अच्छे लगेंगे भगवान. We'll like God more if we were to see him. If our heart is pure, oh, I like him. I don't know what it is about him. It's very nice. Some reaction like that, we still won't know it's Bhagwan. Tribhir gunamayair bhavairevhi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhyah paramavyayam Gita. Shri Krishna says the people of this world, even if I'm standing right in front of them, because they are affected by the qualities of Maya, they don't see me in my divine form. They think I'm an ordinary worldly person. So this is the problem. Right now, God is invisible to us, and even if he were to take avatar and come here right now to meet us, even then we wouldn't benefit from it. We would say, bas, that's it. Ye Bhagwan hai. So how do we bridge this gap? Here's where Bhagwan's kripa comes in. One big riayat. Riayat means नहीं होना चाहिए, लेकिन भगवान इतने दयालु हैं कि कर ही देते हैं. Riayat means like a compromise, like a technically it means we shouldn't be able to reach God. God is divine and everything we have is material, so there's no possible way for us to reach God. God says it's okay. I'll figure out a way for you to reach me. So the first riayat is, Bhagwan says, you can't recognize me even if I come right before you. So I'm going to make myself available to you in another form, in the form of my name. भगवान के नाम में भगवान स्वयं बैठे हैं और वो नाम हमारे पास है. We have God's name. We have access to his name. We can't see him, and even if we meet him, we won't benefit from it. So he says, I'm putting all of my powers in my name. Naam naam kari bahudha nij sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamitah smarnena kalah etadrishi tav kripa bhagavan mamapi Durdaivami drishamiha janinanurag. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ji says, Oh Shri Krishna, you are so kind that you've put all of your powers in your name and you've made your name available to us, and you didn't make any rules for remembering your name. Na desha niyamastasmin, na kala niyamastatha. In Karma Kand of Vedas, there's lots of rules you have to follow, like how to do puja, what to wear, the place has to be very purified. You can't just offer anything to God. There's rules and regulations according to the Karma Kand of Vedas. Bhagwan's name is beyond this. Na desha niyamastasmin. Desh means the place. You can take God's name anywhere. And nakala niyamastatha. There is no restriction of when you can take God's name. भगवान के नाम लेने में कोई बंदी नहीं, कोई प्रतिबंधन नहीं, कोई नियम नहीं. कहीं भी भगवान का नाम ले लो, कभी भी उनका नाम ले लो. One time there was a devotee during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ji who was in such a habit of taking God's name all the time. Even when he would go to do toilet, he would keep saying God's name from his mouth all the time, out loud. So another devotee went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ji and he complained that, Guruji, even when he's going to the toilet, he's still taking God's name. Itni gandi baat. So Mahaprabhu ji called that other devotee and he said, well, actually, the other devotee, he heard some people complaining. So he again tried, he said, okay, these people don't like it. So when I go to the toilet, what I'll do is I'll tie a bandana around my mouth so that no word can come out of my mouth. Because I'm in such a habit, it just happens. So he started doing that. Again, they went and complained to Mahaprabhu ji that now he's tying a thing around his mouth and going on like that while he's going to the bathroom. So Mahaprabhu ji called him and he said, what's all this? And he said, Guruji, I'm in such a habit of taking God's name. It just happens automatically. That's why I tied my mouth and still I'm saying it. So Mahaprabhu ji said to the person who had complained, he said, don't you know God's name makes all the impure things pure. You can't make God's name impure. Like the sun. The sun shines on pure things, the sun shines on impure things. The sun can never become impure. सूर्य कभी अशुद्ध नहीं हो सकता. सूर्य की किरणें शुद्ध वस्तु पर भी पड़ती हैं, अशुद्ध वस्तु पर भी पड़ती हैं. सूर्य कभी अशुद्ध नहीं हो सकता. गंगा जी has so many gande naale go into her. All the dirty gutter water goes in Ganga ji. It all becomes pure, becomes Ganga ji. Ganga ji doesn't become impure. In the same way, You take God's name in a pure place, you take God's name in an impure place, God's name will purify everything. God's name can't get dirty. That's the power of Bhagwan's name. कहौ नाम बड़ राम ते, तुलसीदास जी कहते हैं मैं तो कहता हूं कि राम का नाम राम से बड़ा है, क्योंकि राम हमारे कोई काम में नहीं आएंगे। अभी राम तो कहते हैं निर्मल मन जन सो मोहि पावा, मोहि कपट छल छिद्र न भावा। शुद्ध मन वाला मुझे पा सकता है, अशुद्ध मन वाला दूर रहो। Bhagwan meets those who have fully purified their heart. So that's why we have to do bhakti, to purify our heart. But how do we do bhakti? With Bhagwan's name. That's the great purifier. So Bhagwan's name is even more used to us than Bhagwan. The name is even greater than Bhagwan himself, because the name is Bhagwan in another form. Swayam Bhagwan अपने नाम बन गए, अनंत नाम है उनके, 1 2 10 20 नहीं, अनंत हैं। वो सब भगवान के बराबर हैं। God and God's name are not two separate things. Like in the world, ये जो सामने पड़ा है बादाम, ये शब्द जो है बादाम और ये पदार्थ जो है बादाम, ये अलग अलग है ना। अगर भूख लगी है तो कभी ऐसे कोशिश करो कि बस बादाम 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 बोलते रहो, पेट भर जाएगा क्या? नहीं, उस पदार्थ को खाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि अलग अलग है। The name and the actual substance are completely separate. It's a arbitrary word that we've assigned to that particular thing. There's no substantial connection between the name and the thing. But in Bhagwan's case, Bhagwan himself has become his name. That's another form of Bhagwan, the name. So all the power is in his name. So we just take his name with that understanding and that faith. Then the effect of the name purifies our mind, our antahkaran. That's the key. See, Bhagwan said, oh, you can't see me? I'm not available to you? Okay, I'm making myself available in the form of my name. And you can't reach me until you get a purified mind. When you get a purified mind, you'll be fully surrendered. Then I'll be able to grace you. See, Bhagwan's willing to grace us, but our receptacle, our mind, has to be a fit vessel, a pure vessel to receive his grace. So how to purify it? Bhagwan says, my name is the great purifier. So this is the first रियायत, ये भगवान की पहली महान रियायत है कि अपनी सारी शक्तियां अपने नाम में रख दी और कोई पाबंदी नहीं बनाया. He didn't make any rule that you have to be in a pure place to remember my name. It has to be Brahma Muhurt, early morning, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., you have to think of my name. And have a bath first. You can't chant my name until you've had a bath. Nothing like this. Total freedom to think of God's name anytime, any place. So you see, for us, kitni badi suvidha hai. How convenient it is that we have his name. We can take that name anywhere, all the time, any place, and keep remembering his name. Jagat Guru Shri Kripalji Maharaj, my Guruji, the one who, with his grace, we're hearing about this knowledge. He says there's one practice you can use. कि श्वास श्वास से राधे नाम का जप करो. जब हम लोग श्वास खींचते हैं अंदर, तो बिना कुछ मुंह से बोले, केवल हृदय में रा बोलना है। और जब हम श्वास को छोड़ते हैं तो धे राधे, श्वास तो लेना है ना दिन भर, तो श्वास लेते लेते भगवान का नाम का स्मरण भी कर सकते हैं। When you inhale without saying anything, just silently in your heart, you can say Ra. And you exhale, you say He. You keep doing this Radhe, Radhe all day long. This is one way to remember God's name. And even when you're busy in the world, you keep remembering His name, your heart keeps purifying. This mind is very impure. That's why we feel anger, frustration, fear, tension. This is a symptom of the impurity of the mind, which means we have a lot of work to do, a lot of cleaning to do. But we have the thing that will clean it, Bhagwan's name. However, we just have to keep in mind that it's not just enough to say His name verbally. विश्वास के साथ उनका नाम लेना है. We have to have faith. Oh, I'm saying Radhe Govinda, actual Radha Krishna are in this name. When we take the name with that faith, then we get the effect of the name. Otherwise, we keep taking the name. Some people do a lot of kirtan or jap, and their heart never gets purified. Why? They keep, in fact, you would say their heart is becoming more impure every day. They're getting more and more unhappy and keep singing God's name. It's because they're only doing it verbally. It has to be done with the faith. Oh, मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ ये स्वयं भगवान है. And to help us with that, we have to do one more thing. Roop Dhyan. Roop Dhyan means picturing God. See, this is common sense. In the world, let's say in your house there's 5-6 kids, and you need some help with something, you're calling them from the next room. There's one particular one, what's his name? Sometimes you forget your own kids' names, especially if you have a few of them. Dinesh, idhar aao. So see, first, before you remember the name, his face came in your mind, right? पहले उसकी शक्ल की याद आई, आपने उसकी शक्ल का ध्यान किया, तब नाम लिया, बुलाया नाम से. So what I'm trying to say is, your mind is engaged in that person when you're calling them. You're thinking, this person, and now I'm calling his name. So we should take God's name like that. किनका नाम ले रहे हैं हम? पहले उनके रूप का ध्यान करना चाहिए, उनको सामने मन ही मन में खड़ा कर देना चाहिए सामने. अगर हमारा मन भगवान के रूप में नहीं है तो कहीं संसार में घूम रहा होगा. हमारा मन कभी स्थिर नहीं रह सकता कि मैं कुछ नहीं सोच रहा हूं. असंभव. न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत्. गीता. हमारा मन अकर्मा एक क्षण के लिए भी नहीं रह सकता. Our mind cannot remain inactive even for 1 second. So what I'm saying is, if we're not visualizing the form of God as we're chanting His name, then it's a guarantee that our mind is somewhere else. Our mind is not in God. And if our mind is not in God, how will our mind get purified? Remember, the whole point of devotion is purify your mind. When the mind is 100% purified, then it's a fit receptacle to receive God's grace. So we're trying to purify the mind, and we're letting our mind wander in the impure world while we take God's name. Then we're just taking God's name verbally, and we won't get any benefit. I mean, okay, it's good to take God's name, but you're not getting heart purification. Your mind is not purified by taking it in that way. You have to also visualize the form of God. And this is the second riayat, because someone may say, how will I visualize the form of God? I've never seen him. I have a material mind. I can't visualize God's divine form. भगवान का रूप दिव्य है, निर्गुण है, मायिक गुणों से परे है। दिव्यो ह्यमूर्तः पुरुषः स बाह्याभ्यंतरो ह्यजः, मुंडकोपनिषद। भगवान का रूप माया से परे है, तो हम उस रूप का ध्यान कैसे करेंगे? जो भी हम सोचेंगे वो सब प्राकृत मायिक होगा, और भगवान का रूप प्राकृत नहीं है, वो माया से परे है उनका रूप। तो उनके दिव्य रूप का ध्यान करने के लिए दिव्य मन चाहिए, और दिव्य मन मिलेगा भगवत प्राप्ति के बाद। तो हम क्या करें? You need a divine mind to correctly visualize God's divine form. But to get a divine mind, you have to meditate on God's form. So we call catch-22. You're stuck either way. I can't meditate on God's form because I don't have a divine mind. And with a material mind, I can only think of a material form. Then how can I purify my mind? How can I bring God into my mind? तो भगवान कहते कोई बात नहीं, ये मेरी दूसरी बड़ी रियायत है, मैं मान लेता हूं तुम्हारा ध्यान, जैसे भी मेरा रूप बनाओ मुझे मंजूर है, मुझे कोई एतराज नहीं, बस भगवत भावना होनी चाहिए। हम जो रूप बना रहे, मैं जो श्री कृष्ण का रूप, कल्पित रूप जो मैं बना रहा हूं अपने मन में, ये है श्री कृष्ण, क्योंकि श्री कृष्ण सर्वव्यापक हैं, तो मेरे कल्पित रूप में भी व्याप्त हैं। जैसे इस पत्थर की मूर्ति में भी भगवान व्याप्त हैं। अगर हम लोग केवल पत्थर देखेंगे तो पत्थर का फल मिलेगा हमको, यानी कुछ नहीं। अगर इस मूर्ति में भगवान की भावना हम रखेंगे कि स्वयं राधा कृष्ण सर्वव्यापक हैं, इसलिए मूर्ति में भी व्याप्त हैं, इसलिए मैं आरती स्वयं भगवान की कर रहा हूं, मैं किसी पत्थर की आरती नहीं कर रहा, ये भगवत भावना है। तो ऐसी भगवत भावना हमारे रूप ध्यान में भी लानी पड़ेगी। We have to bring this feeling that even though whatever form I'm imagining of Shri Krishna's, it's not his real divine form. It's okay. I know I can only imagine that after God realization, and then I won't need to imagine it because I'll meet him face to face. But until then, Bhagwan says, it's okay. I accept your material meditation. I give you full benefit for your material meditation. You imagine me any way you want. Just have the faith that I am in that form that you're imagining, and I give you full benefit. So by our own material effort of imagining God's form, we're getting a divine result. This shouldn't be. That's why it's a big riayat. Bhagwan is giving us a big freebie, you can say. We can't, there's no way we can meditate on his divine form. He says it's okay. You do your best, I'll give you divine results for it. So today I explained to you 2 out of 3 of the riayat. Riayat again means like Bhagwan is giving us something that we haven't earned or can't pay for or have no way of getting it on our own. Bhagwan just says, chalo, koi baat nahi, chalne do. So Bhagwan is compromising for us. Otherwise, if Bhagwan didn't put all of his powers in his name and make that name available to us, Even one single soul couldn't have gotten God realized from all eternity until now. And if Bhagwan didn't give us benefit, divine benefit for our material imagination of Him, then also not one single soul could have gotten God realized. But the fact is, uncountable souls have attained God because of this kindness of Bhagwan. इन रियायतों के कारण अनंत जीवों ने भगवान को प्राप्त किया है. हम भी कर सकते हैं, लेकिन एक और रियायत है जो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, वो मैं कल बता दूंगा. Tomorrow I'm going to tell you the third riyayat, which has to do with loving God. You see, it should be impossible for us to love God, because God is God and we are just insignificant souls. God is all powerful, all knowing. We're like a beggar and God is like the all powerful king or queen. Does a beggar really think that the king is going to be my friend? Does the beggar really think he could marry a princess? No, there's no hope of that. So in the same way, it should be impossible for a soul to have any kind of loving relationship with God, because God is on His own level and we're on our own level. But this is the third riyayat. So what is that special grace of Shri Krishna? I'll explain tomorrow. Bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki. So now we have some more time to do some kirtan, but I want to see actually if there's any question that anybody has based on today's lecture or yesterday's lecture. Anything you want to ask, you can ask. Kids also can ask. Adults can also ask. Anita, कुछ भी पूछना हो तो पूछ सकते हैं आज या कल के विषय के संबंध में. और नहीं तो हम कीर्तन कर लेंगे. जी पूछिए.
मेरे पास हमेशा सवाल होते हैं. बताइए. आप जब मुक्ति के बारे में बोलते हैं तो मुक्ति और लिबरेशन, उसमें क्या फर्क है?
एक ही चीज
वही है.
लिबरेशन इज द इंग्लिश वर्ड.
अच्छा, तो जब हम जनरली स्पिरिचुअलिटी के जो टॉक्स या बुक्स पढ़ते हैं, उसमें मोक्ष और लिबरेशन सबसे महत्वपूर्ण चीज होती है. तो फिर जब आप कह रहे हैं कि भोक्ति और मुक्ति, उससे भी प्रेम सबसे आगे है, पर ये हमें सिखाया नहीं गया बचपन से सिखाया गया है कि मोक्ष चाहिए जीवन में.
तो ये कलयुग है ना, तो ये कोई आश्चर्य की बात नहीं है कि पूरा ज्ञान सबको नहीं मिल रहा. कलयुग में बहुत कम महापुरुष मिलने की संभावना होती है. It's very difficult to meet a true saint. So to get the true knowledge, you need a true saint. So somebody like Shri Kripaluji Maharaj is very rare in the world. If you look at, even go through all the spiritual television channels, and if you're really critically listening, who's really giving jnana? Very few people. So it's very difficult to get access to the true knowledge, especially in Kali Yuga. When a soul is ready, Bhagwan arranges for it, but हमको आश्चर्य नहीं होना चाहिए कि किसी ने कुछ गलत सिखाया है. Now that's one answer. Another answer is that there's levels, right? Moksha is beyond bhakti. So to explain to somebody that, okay, there's something beyond just worldly enjoyments. There's a state you can attain where you're completely free from all suffering. That's moksha. Okay, it exists, so it's like telling the next level. But then there's something even beyond that. They didn't get that far. So moksha is a thing, it's a real thing, but it's not desirable as compared to prem. And if those who have attained prem are called the rasik mahapurush, क्योंकि उनको भगवान का रस मिल गया, प्रेम रस मिल गया. तो रसिक महापुरुष कहते हैं कि मोक्ष सबसे खराब चीज है. चैतन्य महाप्रभु जी कहते हैं तारो मध्य मोक्षवांछा कैतव प्रधान. कैतव माने धोखा. सबसे बड़ा धोखा है मोक्ष, मुक्ति, लिबरेशन. क्योंकि एक बार पाने के बाद फिर प्रेम से वंचित सदा रहेंगे, भगवान के प्रेम से वंचित रहेंगे, उनकी सेवा से वंचित रहेंगे. तो उस लेवल के लोग हमको बता सकते हैं रसिक महापुरुष. तो अगर किसी ने रसिक महापुरुष का संग नहीं किया होगा तब कहाँ से सुनेंगे. जी दीदी.
So once they get the moksha, there's no again like rebirth.
न स पुनरावर्तते. It says you never come back.
But like how you know that? Like moksha mil gaya, so he's not going to reborn. Only God knows
Yes, that's right.
that. But